that I made to make the change in my life was to throw my hands up and ask God to take over. That's really the only conscious decision.
You are listening to A Cup of SonRise, where we know a yawn is a silent scream for coffee. Now your host, Pastor Joe and Stada Indian.
Guess what? I'm not Joe or Stada.
Me either. Me neither.
I'm Ladena Bough from Stockton, Missouri. And I am here today filling in for Joe and Stada. And our guest today is Dan Keaton.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's a lot of fun.
Now we're going to kind of follow Joe's format. So here we go with the daily devotion. Luke 14:11. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. There is a God, and you are not him. Powerful people are humble people. Many times we can judge people like we are God. I don't know any relationship that wouldn't be blessed or strengthened by adding some humility in on our part. There's so much in our life that we can't control, but we can control us. When we are humble in our marriages, work relationships, school relationships, families, or any area, we are only strengthened. We only strengthen those contacts. So too many times we judge others by their actions and we judge ourselves by our intentions. Powerful people are humble people who let God do the judging. Interesting concept.
That is so powerful.
Yes.
Wow.
All we see in our world today seems to be judgment. Everybody's judging everybody else,
Sure it is. You look at somebody, you have some preconceived notion of who they are. They must be this way or they must be like that.
Yeah. And we're allowed to use righteous judgment, but that doesn't mean, you just go and judge everybody and, not let them have an opportunity to speak or anything of that nature. So
that's true. A lot of us just kind of look at somebody and get some kind of judgment and go, well, that's just the way they must be without, investigating or find out the truth about somebody.
Yeah. You need to talk to the people, find out what's going on in their life.
Most of the time they're going through the same nonsense and garbage you are.
Right.
Most of the time.
It's not an easy place to be these days.
That is for sure.
But I just rest assured the Lord's going to come one day and, then everything will turn new whenever after he comes.
And until that day, we'll just keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see, he also has the national holiday for today, and it's one near and dear to my heart.
Well, this is awesome.
So today is National Hire a Veteran Day. There are veterans all around this city. There are veterans in every city around that are homeless or going through other issues in their life. And so we need to get our veterans off the street, give them a job.
We do. They've paid over and over dearly for what they need and deserve, and I don't believe they get what they deserve.
No, never. I don't see them getting what they deserve in any respect whatsoever. So it is National Hire a Veteran Day.
And this would be a good time to maybe say what I told you a while ago. I watched this video online. The police pulled over this guy in a car and went up there, and he was crying. He was just distraught. And the officer said, "You okay?" He's on the phone. He said, "I'm on the phone with the VA suicide hotline." And he was just crying. And the officer said, "Well, I'm gonna call you an ambulance." And that boy said, he was a young boy. He said, I can't afford that. He said, "Son, you've already paid for it."
Yep.
Oh man.
And our veterans have paid dearly for us to live in this country.
Yes, they have.
And live the way that we want to. And some people are trying to shut that down, and they're trying to really disenfranchise our veterans also.
Yes.
And that's not right.
So it's National Hire a Veteran Day.
Go hire one.
Go hire one.
Unfortunately, you'll find some of them sitting on street corners trying to get money. I've run into a lot of homeless that are veterans. So, If they have a sign that says veteran, give them a job.
That's right. Shouldn't be that way. Absolutely shouldn't be that way.
Find some place that you can use them. I mean, if nothing else, if you got a business, you can hire somebody to clean or anything like that. And a veteran is not.
There's something they can do.
Yep. We have to give them a little more respect than what they're getting right now. But anyway, we are here with Dan Keaton. He is a wonderful, he's a wonderful musician. He's a wonderful friend. He's just everywhere. And, he's got a bus that he drives around and everybody signs his bus.
Yes, that's a lot of fun.
How many people are you trying to get to sign the bus?
Well, we have a goal of 1 million signatures on the bus, and we're going to write them on the tires and the wheels, and we get a ladder sign at the top, and just wherever we can put them. And I just think God puts things in your mind, and you run with it, and this was one of those things that just from the get-go was just amazing, because everybody that sees it and just wants to sign it, and we, you don't know who you're going to reach or who you're going to influence. And I was we were going through Cincinnati the first of last month, and I stopped to get fuel. I had to get fuel. It was the middle of the night. It was like midnight, and I pulled in this gas station, and I pulled out my debit card, and I put it in the machine, and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, oh gosh, I need fuel. And I am a Christian, but I'm not perfect. Mm-hmm. And I got irritated and mad and huffy and puffy and said a couple things I shouldn't have said, and got back in the bus and drove down the road looking for another gas station. Pulled in the next gas station, and I got out, put the card in, and it worked. Perfect. Nope, not a problem. And I turned around, and behind me was this car with some ladies in it. And one of them got out, and they just tattoos from head to toe, and just walked over to me, and she said, "This is so awesome. Can I sign this bus?" I'm like, "Sure, absolutely." And she immediately said to me, she said, "My cousin passed away yesterday from an overdose." And I thought to myself, look at you, Dan. Look at you. God wanted me at that gas station, right, instead of the one down the street. And that proved to me what God wanted to do with the bus. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people who
and I assume you probably prayed with her too, didn't you?
Yes.
You find somebody going through a hard time and they're crying and the world seems to be against them and they can't find the happiness, pray with them.
Sure.
Just hold their hand, do something, make them know that you love them just like the Lord loves you. And
that's right. And that's what this is all about. I've met so many wonderful people who just from people from other countries and all kinds of people from all kinds of parts of the world, and they see the bus and they go, this is amazing. I love this.
Now, you have to understand, this was an old prison bus. It has now been redeemed for God.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. The old prison bus. We tore all the seats and cages and stuff out of it and made it into like a makeshift living quarters, and they just take it wherever God wants to take it.
Well, you have a lot of kids running around with you these days, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you sure you didn't take the cages out too quickly?
Oh, no, I have 6 little chihuahuas. That's yeah. They're the ones that need the cages, I promise.
Yeah. So anyway, Dan Keaton has shared the stage with what is this? Is this the Gaithers or the Gathers?
That's Gaithers. Yeah, I've been blessed to, like at the National Quartet Convention, they have those, kind of homecoming videos of all the singers. Mm-hmm. I was the opportunity just once to be a part of that.
Yep. Well, I love the Gaithers, and a few of them around here have said that they came to the Lord because of the Gaithers and their singing. And then it says you've been with the Spears.
I got to sing with the Spear family way back when I was a little teenager and just all giddy about gospel music. And They were looking for somebody, and they took me out for a little bit. And, I guess it was an audition. Audition for a few weeks, and I couldn't play the piano and sing at the same time. So I'm a man, and my wife says I don't do two things at once.
Oh, okay.
I can play piano and I can sing, but not at the same time.
Yeah. My brother was teaching me to play the guitar, and he wanted me to teach him to play my accordion. Let me tell you, he made a true statement. My brother could never figure out how to play this here and these buttons here and pull it in and out.
Well, yeah, because he's a male. That's right.
No, it was an interesting time. And let's see, we got Gold City Quartet that you played with.
Yes, I sang with Gold City from 2011 to 2013. Just all these wonderful opportunities God gave a kid from Detroit,
Yeah, and let's see, Joe gave you a really good ad yesterday, and he said
I saw that. Nice.
You performed at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville.
I did.
And
They that was the circle and on the stage that they put. I was able to. They had a competition, and you sent in your tapes or whatever, and I sent those in, and then we're going to bring in so many people to come to the competition at the Grand Ole Opry, and I did. I got to stand in a lot of places here. This last trip we made, I got to go sing at the Rosine Barn, the home of Bill Monroe.
Okay.
And I got to sing. I'm not bluegrass, but they let me sing anyway. And I got they have his footprints there on the floor, and they gave me this certificate. It said Daniel Keaton has stood in the footprints of Bill Monroe. Wow. And just,
It's the little things that make your heart powder,
That's right. A little tear come and handed me that, and I'm like, I started a tear coming. I was like, look at where God has brought me.
Mm-hmm. He's given you all kinds of opportunities.
He sure has.
You even went to Times Square Church in New York.
I did.
The American Cathedral in France.
New York got the Gold City was there. Got to sing at that church in Times Square Church, New York. And then yes, I got to drive and raise some money, drive a bus and work for my buddy, and Jim Sheldon. I don't know if you know Jim Sheldon. I drove the bus for Jim, and for a little bit raised some money to go to France, and because I didn't get paid for going over there, I went over there. Ministry paid for it itself, and we got to go to the American Cathedral in Paris, and sing for their Friday mission lunch, where they serve about 70 homeless people in the little back room of the church there. And I got to sing and perform for them after they got done eating. The guy said, Dan, when you're done singing, you can help us mop the floor and clean the dishes. And just should throw their trash away. And said,
we're all servants of the Lord.
That's right. And it was so much fun and such an honor to be there and be a part of that.
Steve McAllister's hello to my old buddy Dan.
His old buddy Steve.
He's up watching us this morning.
Let's see, Steve. Well, I can't see you. You can see me. Anyway.
Anyway, you were going to come in and share some of your testimony. Your young life was rather scattered and so forth.
My mom and dad divorced when I was 4, and I was put into a foster home with my step-grandparents. And I was put there because I was physically abused by a stepmother. And the state decided the best thing for me was put into a foster home, and they decided the best thing was to go to my step-grandparents' house. They would fix everything. So, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and that's
what I was just going through my mind. It's like, okay, it's your stepmother that's causing you issues and abusing
and
you.
That's where she learned what she learned from.
You learn what you live.
Yeah, and my dad was an alcoholic, and they decided after a little bit they did all they had to do, and they fixed my problem, put me back in with my stepmother and my father, and nothing had been fixed. And my dad and me, my brother, we left and went to Litchfield, Kentucky on a Greyhound bus, and moved in with my grandmother, a saint of God, and loved us a bushel at a peck and a hug around the neck. And she
Those
knew
are the best grandmas.
Oh, she was she was the best grandma. She knew where true love comes from. She knew how to deliver it to a little boy that needed it. And I found her gospel music under the living room table, and pulled out. There's a box of cassettes about that big, and said one of them, the very first one, "Wanted Live, the Happy Goodman Family." I'm like, ooh, that sounds pretty interesting. I'll put that in a tape player. And some of the best singing and funniest people I'd ever heard in my life. They said, you know, they banging on the stage, reinforcing the stage. You know, Happy Goodman family, big folks. I always, all my life since then, want to be just like the Happy Goodman family, and I just about made it. So,
Yep.
but the music change, you know, just led me into what God wanted me to do, and I thought, you know, I'd been bullied at school, I'd been beaten and bullied at school. So bullied now, as a matter of fact. But still,
I haven't bullied you today.
Not you,
Dan.
not you. Still to this day, get people. But anyway, you know, it's different because I was loved by Grandma, and someone put a tent across the street. I thought the circus had come to town. But it wasn't a circus. I'm a Yankee from Detroit. I'd never seen a tent revival before. I sat on that step at Grandma's house, watched it over there, and said, well, that's pretty cool stuff. I know. Live musician, man, live bands, like, that's pretty cool. So went over there and sat in the back row and intently listened to all these singers. And then the preacher got up and he said, God has got something great for your life, but you got to give him your heart first.
Mm-hmm.
Had nothing to lose. Everything I'd already been through. Walked across the grass, knelt down at the altar of old wooden folding chairs, and said, Jesus Christ, come into my life. And ever since that day, he's taken me all around the world to share the good things he's done for me.
Yeah. Well, that would be a hard life, you know, mom and dad divorcing, and then the stepmother, and then step grandmother, you know, those can, a lot of children would be destroyed by that. They wouldn't find the strength to get back up.
Well, I was. I was, and had it not been for, you know, God making the path of where I needed to be and who I needed to meet, and living with my grandma, and sending that preacher with the tent to set up there, you know, who knows where I'd be today. Yeah. But I was actually driving down the road, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to have a picture of that tent, because I knew the evangelist's name, Layman Napper from DePaul, Indiana. LAMONNAPPER. He's always on the radio, you know. Listen to him on the radio all the time. And I went to looking for maybe if I could find him, or well, he passed away, but yeah, find something about him or his ministry, and I happened to run across a website dedicated to him.
Wow.
And there on his website was a picture of that tent.
Awesome.
And that's something. And I sat on the side of the road just bawling. Just people driving. I go, what's the matter with that guy? But I did. And on my website is a picture of that very tent. And I thought, how cool is that? How cool is that? It was, you know.
Yeah. It was something you needed to see, and it was there.
Yeah.
You know, I find that quite often. It's like, okay, I need to find this or find that. And as soon as I do, then my heart just explodes.
Yeah. Well, God knew I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just a reminder, you know, where I came from.
We all need to remember where we came from, okay? And it's like right now, they don't teach the true history of our nation and so forth, and we're falling apart. You know, we're not learning from what we've done before, and without that, we're all lost.
We deserve. I've come up with this campaign, and I have this little video clip that I made of an eagle, and it says, "America deserves better."
It does.
We do deserve better, but the only way, then it's not going to be politics or politicians that are going to make it better. It's going to be, if my people called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal their land.
Mhm.
That is going to make America better.
That same verse has been hanging on the wall of my church since World War II.
Wow. Wow.
A lady made that sign, and it'd been up there. It didn't have any frame around it or anything. She'd done it all by hand, and so whenever I was refurbishing the church,
Right.
I went and got a window frame and the glass in it and everything, and made a frame for that particular saying, and it's still hanging there.
Yeah. If we forget, we go through things, and you can go through your life every day, and just kind of like, we just try to survive, and then we forget of what the things we should be focused on, or at least I do.
Yeah, we all get buried in our own personal lives, and we forget we're supposed to be messengers for the Lord.
We are. We are.
Uh,
And I've been so blessed to be able to, travel and go where I go. God is. Can I tell you something? God is absolute best at accomplishing everything
mhm.
with absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, and
You all have been traveling around on faith.
you got that right. Yeah, well, you have to have, and it's like I said. I mean, why do you do? Well, I do this because, I mean, I owe him my life.
Mm-hmm.
I owe him everything, and he's, people that use the word called. Well, I've been called to do this. Well, Lord, how am I going to pay for this? Trust me.
Yeah.
Just trust me. And if you do that, every day he proves it. Every day he proves it by some means. Any things the things that you got to have. If you start the day, I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have the money for that. I don't have the money for that. I don't have money to eat today. Lord, how am I going to eat today? How am I going to feed my family today? I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And before too long, you sell something, or somebody goes, I want to bless you, or somebody said, because people just think, there's a lot of folks that I've run into, you just have this, like we was talking, these preconceived notions of people, that we're just walking around here with just tons of money, and a lot of people who just give us lots of money. We just got a big bank account, and we got the money to go do that. Look at them driving around in a bus. They got money for that. They got money for this, buying fuel. Boy, they got money. No, we every day spend the last pennies we got
Mm-hmm.
to put our faith in God and say, well, Lord, you just send me where you want me to go.
I had a pastor who was amazing in Stockton, and he talked about the day that he needed to go out and visit sick people from the congregation.
Right.
And he went out there, and he got to the first house, and then he looked at the gas gauge, and he said, I'm not even got enough gas to get back to town or anything else. But he's like, Lord, if you want me to do this, you're going to have to help me out a little bit. And that little tiny bit of gas let him go to 5 other houses before he got back to town to buy gas. He was running on fumes, but the Lord got him in and out and around the place. So
It's like for the last, and the opportunity that he's given me and presented it just in front of me and taken me, not where I've wanted to go, just wherever the door opens. The Lord says, go here, go there, I want you to go here. Led me to Branson.
mm-hmm.
5 years ago, I came into Branson, and when we got here, we were homeless. People think, well, you must have had it good in Branson. Well, no, not really. Branson is the best place I've ever worked and the worst place I've ever lived.
Yeah, I've heard that from people. Yeah.
Because it's a tourist town, and the price is just through the roof, and it doesn't matter if you live there or not. You still got to pay those prices.
Right.
So we lived at a campground, and my mama slept in the front seat of a Dodge Caravan. We had my kids slept in a tent that the campground let us borrow, and we had an old van. Me and my wife stayed in that van, and that's how it was for the first little bit. And then we got the money comes in the first of the month, and we had I think there was about $1,200. That's what came in, and somebody was selling it was up north here. Somebody selling a little pool trailer. Or they wanted 16. I was like, well, I have 16. I think I'll have 16 coming in. And we drove up here the night before the checks came in, drove up here, sat in the Walmart parking lot, and the next day we drove over here to get this trailer. And I walked in there and looked at my phone, and we didn't have that. We had $1,260. And I went and told that guy, told him what was happening. And I said, that's what I got. And you can sell it to me or not. That's up to you. He said, I'll be right back. Walked over in the corner over there into the office, come back out, and he said, well, for $1,260, you can drag it home with you.
That's amazing, because a lot of people just go, nope, that's not enough money.
I could have just, it could have happened that way. I could have just walked away. But then we had a trailer to live in, and then we got a buddy of ours let us move into his condo, and for too long he come into trouble, wanted to sell it, and he had to sell it. Well, you got to leave. You got to leave in 10 days. Okay, so
where am I supposed to go?
So I thought, I'm going to buy a piece of land. Here, just a cheap piece of land, so it's mine. Can't nobody do anything. I'll put a trailer on it or do whatever I have to do. Mm-hmm. And got on Facebook and got involved. Did a land contract with a criminal, and I paid him his money, and he wouldn't give me my deeds. I had to hire an attorney here in Springfield. I still owe that attorney $5,600, and can't pay it. But I got this land, and then for too long, this guy he just kept causing trouble. He come and jerked the wires out of the meter box.
Oh my!
Live, I got him on video and pictures pulling the live wires out of the out of the meter box, because he told us we couldn't have an air conditioner. You can't have an air conditioner because you guys are growing weed in there. You can't have an air conditioner. You guys are growing weed and drugs. And this guy goes, I don't know who it was. The guy said, well, he don't know nothing. You need sunshine to grow weed. I don't know, but that's what he said. So, and we ended up, and even now, I don't know, honestly, any other way to say it. We couldn't live there anymore, and we got, thanks the Lord, blessing, we got this bus. Mm-hmm. Because we were able to tear it apart and do haphazardly make living quarters out of it, and so we couldn't stand that spot anymore. Now we got squatters on the land, and the sheriff told me if I go back out there, he's going to arrest me. Taney County Sheriff. That's what he told me.
Why?
Because the squatters take them to court. You got to go to court and file paperwork. You got to pay the fines or pay the court to file papers and have them evicted off your land. I'm like, I don't have money for that.
At least I got some place to stay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And there's a neighbor behind me who sent me pictures of they've got clothesline hanging all across got their clothes hanging on, I guess. He said, isn't this just heartbreaking? I was like, well, it could be if it wasn't for God. Mm-hmm. If he hadn't blessed me with what I needed when I didn't know I needed it, it probably could be heartbreaking. But God is just that way. He'll provide us what we got to have, mm-hmm. When we need it. And,
yeah. Let's see. Good morning, Miss Marcia Holland. She has Clean Sweep Ministries here at the Part of Acts. Awesome. And Jim Whining is checked in here.
Very nice.
So we're gaining some people talking to us this morning.
Good. And I'm sure, and that's what I was saying a while ago, the people that you meet or you people that you try to read people. It's like, what's up with these? They're going through the same trouble and heartache that you're going through. And when I, all this stuff I'm talking about the being homeless and people on your line, I'm sure there are people out there today going, yeah, well, I'm right there with you, brother. I got some of those too,
And so many of them are there going, I'm about there. Please, how'd you get through that? Yeah.
We're still working on it,
Mm-hmm.
You're still working on it. And I thought, I don't know, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. What can you do? I mean,
just keep plugging along. The
So-
Lord provides a way. I know when I was raising my kids that I get to the point where it's like, how am I going to pay for the electric bill? How am I going to pay for this school trip? Or how am I going to get school supplies for my kids to go to school? And it never failed that God provided me a way to get through all of that.
Absolutely.
I've never had my electricity shut off, never had my water shut off or anything like that, because God brought me some way to do
Right.
what I needed to do.
I mean, it's like I said, people think, we do what we do and it looks all nice, and they go, oh, they must have money in the bank and they must have, oh, well, no, we trust God to provide each and every day for what he's put us out here to do.
Mm-hmm.
And my, the ball knobbers were great to me. Absolutely wonderful. Some of the best 5 years of my singing. And the best thing about it was that you got to stand in front of people who didn't come to see a gospel show.
Right.
They didn't come to hear gospel. They didn't come to hear about Jesus. But then they stick me out there and sing Amazing Grace and How Great Thou Art and Blessed Assurance. And you see the look on people that they're just soaking it in.
Yeah.
And, this is cool. And that opportunity that I got from the ball knobbers, I'll never, ever forget how wonderful they were to me. And for those of you who may have heard things about the ball knobbers, they are some of the greatest and finest people you'll ever want to meet.
Yeah, and they've been around since I was a kid. I'm 65.
And that
okay?
wasn't long ago, was it?
Yeah, I remember. I think the first time I saw the Bald Blobber show I was probably 10, and my dad took us. And it's like, okay, and they're still going strong. Okay,
Longest show, their first show in Branson.
Yeah,
the very first show downtown.
Yeah, my husband died in November, but when he was younger, his mother and father and all of them, they had a little group that played music, and they'd go down there for a competition or something every year.
Right.
And they played on the Bald Knobber stage over the years, because we got to figure out all the places that we had been in the same place, but we hadn't met each other at that point. We've left the Bald Knobbers. I did, and moved to Florida. My son moved to Florida and got in a little trouble, and he needs us, and we're moving down there, and we don't have a car down there, and our car was up here in storage, so I got on a plane and flew up here to get our car, and I got to the airport, and just like any other day, I was start the day without any money, and I don't. Lord, how am I going to eat today? It's expensive at the airport. You ever tried to eat at the airport? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's like eating at Disneyland or something.
I know. That's right. Like a turkey sandwich was $15. I'm like, oh gosh, what am I going to do? So I'm walking over there to sit down and wait for an airplane. And not in the trash can, but on the trash can was this box of Dunkin' Donuts. A dozen. And they were still in there, and one of them had been taken a bite out of, and that was it. And I thought, well, thank you, Lord Jesus. I appreciate that. I got donuts for today. And I took that box. I snuck out, grabbed that box, and snuck over the corner. God provided me something to eat for that day. And I was sitting there waiting for and I noticed on the board that the flight is on the board, but there's no gate. Like, okay, well, where am I supposed to go? So I'm sitting there watching. All of a sudden, it gets about time to board the airplane. And I started walking down there, and I found a sign that said Springfield, going to Springfield. Okay, well, all right, well, here, I asked her, I said, is this where the plane goes to Springfield? And she said, yes, sir, I'm fixing to make an announcement. She picked up the microphone behind. She said, ladies and gentlemen, on flight to Springfield, your flight has been canceled. Please go to the desk and talk to the agent. I'm like, huh?
Well, you were first in line.
That's right. I don't have any money. I don't have a way to get around. I don't have a way to get back to my wife. I don't have nowhere to stay. What am I going to do? And I'm like, well, there's a sheriff there. And I said, well, I guess I'll just be sleeping in this chair for the night because they booked me on the flight the next day. And he goes, that's all right. He said, it happens all the time. So I got that night, I mean, just longest night of my life. I was like, I'll sit in this chair. That's not comfortable. Well, I sit over on the floor. That's not comfortable. Let me lay down on the floor. It's freezing cold. It's like 80 degrees outside and it's 20 degrees inside that airport. I laid down there on the floor, freezing to death. I picked a shirt up out of my bag and curled up in the like fetal position, trying to say. Went outside because got to get warmed up. Laid up there on the bench like some homeless person laid on the bench there, like poor fella. The next day, and I flew up here, come up here. The next day, got on an airplane, no problem. Come to get the car. Got over to the storage where the car is, and the car won't start. Car won't start. I'm still today. I'm leaving today to go back down there, see if I can try to fix it.
Is it in park?
He
was telling a story
now I got to add that part to it. I said, so we were take the kids for pizza one night, make it short, and they come back out. They wouldn't start. The van wouldn't start. I'm like, so I'm spending the next hour taking out fuses, pulling out relays, trying to figure out why won't this van start. And my son looked down. He said, Dad, doesn't it have to be in park? Yes, son, it does.
Started right up then.
But I got down and so we've been working on it, and it sounds like, I got a video on my Facebook page. It sounds like something's broken when you hit the key. It sounds like something mechanically broken inside the motor. So, that's just.
We're all going to send prayers that his car starts today.
Another thing,
His wife and kids are all in Florida right now.
Yeah, they need donuts. Anyway, but if anybody wants a Mazda, send me a message. So we're gonna have to either, I don't know, fix it or find somebody to fix it, or if I'll tell you what, and I'm absolutely serious about this. If you're a mechanic and you want this Mazda, come get it. I'll give it to you. You can have it. I'm serious about it. God has blessed me each and every day with the things I need. Mm-hmm. The ministry needs either a full-size van or a small box truck. Yeah, we got to move all this stuff to Florida. And if anybody has one that they'll sell us cheap, you can contact me, because we'll talk about it. But I'm serious about this car because this has been the worst car I've ever owned in my life. So if you're a mechanic and you can fix it, it's yours. Contact me and I'll give it to you.
Well, you may want to give them your phone number.
Oh, yeah. It's 877-717-2747. It's actually, remember it, it's 877-71-PARIS. 877-71-PARIS. So you call me after the show's over and I'll tell you where it's at. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I'm absolutely not kidding. Because I know that God is going to bless me in return if I can bless somebody else. Right. So if you're a mechanic and you can pay to have it fixed and you need a car, bless your heart, bring your tow truck and come get it. I'll absolutely give it to you.
Yeah, and then after that, you got to get back to Florida. I do,
but the airline I'll not tell you who it was, Allegiant, and they gave me a voucher for another flight.
Well, that's cool.
So I can use that to get back to Florida, but I still got to get all my stuff. The reason I came here to get my stuff to Florida. But anyway, yeah. No, they stood behind her. They helped me out a little, and they gave me a voucher for another flight if I want it.
Yeah, so that's a blessing. Yeah.
But I just need to be prepared in case they cancel that one.
Right.
Again. So.
Well, then they'll give you another voucher.
Hey, I can make a living at this. They cancel their flights and give me a little money and give me another plane ticket.
Well, we're about out of time here. Looks like we got 15 seconds, so I guess I'll say that you can always hear our shows here, and you can also hear our shows on Radio Free America. Just get the Get Me Radio app and make Radio Free America your favorite, and you'll clear a lot of great music and a lot of great shows. So, if you got a minute, go hit the donate button on Action Media Group. Thank you.